Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy Podcast, episode 373 for the week of October 23rd. Scott, you're just not, it's not going to happen. Sorry, Scott. October 23rd, 2018. My name is Ryan Higgins. What do I not say?
Jesus Christ.
Not who's with me today.
Yeah.
Who's here with me?
Oh, yeah. Who's here with me? Is that what I'm supposed to say? I don't. So Scott wanted to do the intro to this podcast, pretending to be me, and it didn't happen. And I apparently am messing up saying the things he said that I said that I don't actually say. So Brock,
yes,
say hello.
Apparently I'm here, Brock Sager.
Say hello, Brock.
Hi.
And the Legion of Joshes. There's more than one of us now. We are growing. There's a group on the Facebook page.
The Josh Bros?
The Josh Bros. Shout out to the Josh Bros. What's up, boys?
This is Scott. And who else is here?
This is Kevin.
Hello, Kevin.
And
Charlie's on his way.
And
Charlie's pulling a Toby, and Charlie will be here eventually. That's fine.
so
That's
there's
fine.
an empty seat here.
The problem is Charlie's pulling a Toby, and Toby's pulling a Toby. So they're both pulling a Toby at the same time. So Toby's over there. I don't know what the hell he's doing.
that's a bunch of Toby pulling.
We have, my death journal. Yeah. That's my death note. I just write your name in it all the time.
You know, Ryan is super emo when he has a journal to write his daily diary, and
I only write my diary on calendars from 1983. I'm sorry.
It has death on it. How do you feel when you treat me like you do?
What?
Are we even recording a podcast? Because this just sounds like we're talking like normal.
That journal is empty. It's
So are the listeners missing half of this conversation because they can only hear you and not Toby?
Toby's loud enough. They can hear Toby.
Yeah, they can hear
Toby. Anyway, it's
I think we're supposed to be recording a podcast.
top of the fifth. Boston's up 3-2. World Series Game 1, F Fenway. Of course, Chris Sale pitching. Coming off a bit of a sickness.
Ryan, reel us in, buddy.
Coming at the
reel
end
us
of
in.
What?
Reel us in.
You don't want to talk about sports?
Sure, I'll talk sports all day long.
Nah, it's all right. We're gonna talk about comic books, real stuff that people actually care about. Comic books.
Yeah, like
apparently.
5 minutes in. Let's get to it.
Yeah. It's only 2.5.
You're a curmudgeon.
I have my MLB TV app.
Because if the TV was
At-bat
actually
app.
on and your eyes would just be stuck on it and be like, huh?
No.
What?
I mean, it's only
And then you'd randomly scream.
fourth time in 15 years the Red Sox have been in the World Series. It's not like it happens all the time.
Listeners, please note the Ryan Higgins Twitter timeline and see if there is a tweet about the game during this podcast, because then you will know what he's not caring
He's got
about.
Twitter open, and
No,
he's got it.
I have the app open.
Okay.
The live feed app. No, if this is Boston 7 with the next at bat, then yes, I will definitely tweet. Grand Slam, hashtag do damage. Hashtag, whatever else, beat LA.
You do realize you're doing the hashtag symbol and nobody can see you doing
Hashtag.
it except us.
Yeah, I hashtag with my
God.
fingers, hashtag.
That's how he does it.
Yeah.
Tobias, so
That's how you-
long.
that's how you know that I'm
farewell.
making
Auf Wiedersehen.
Fun of that I'm making a hashtag.
So long.
Just
farewell.
start saying number sign something.
Number sign. It's number sign beat LA. Anyway, comic books. Let's talk about some comic book stuff here. We actually don't know much to talk about, so it's fine that I
We can
talk about the Red Sox for 45
We can
minutes.
basically do a full review of the first half of the Daredevil season, which is amazing.
we are
Fill it with random picks.
going to talk about some TV and movie stuff here to open. And we will not talk spoilers of Daredevil, but Scott, I know you've seen about the first half, so let's get your spoiler-free first half review of Daredevil out of the way.
Okay, wait. Is this spoiler? What's the
I'm not
spoiler
going to
level?
do it. So I saw Kevin today. We
Yes.
ran into each other grabbing a sandwich, and I said, Kevin, I'm going to spoil everything, and I'm just going to give you the sign, and I'm going to give him the
They can't see what you're doing.
It's a
Basically, like
baseball
steal a
sign.
base.
Yes.
steal a base, and he
Except-
was going to run out, and then I was just going to say, oh my gosh.
So I've seen two.
Everybody
Brock doesn't
died.
care. I don't really care.
I've seen 2 episodes and I care.
I would
Yeah.
just beep the audio, or I would just turn off the podcast and re-record the opening.
So I will say that it is. Why couldn't they make all the other shows this good? And it, like, by episode 6, I'm on 7, maybe even 8 now. But by episode 6, you're like, yes, this is awesome. They do an amazing job of building a lot of the characterization. Stop looking at the baseball game.
Curcel's out.
Stop
Let's
looking
put
at
him
Puzzle
Barnes.
Quest.
I can talk and Puzzle Quest at the same time.
Rob and I are the only two totally
about.
focused on this show.
Well,
right
so
now.
here, so what's funny is I saw a couple of reviews because they do early reviews for people that sites, right? And the reviews were not that good, but the fan reviews. It's Charlie. Turn your mic on. But the fan reviews have been like amazingly positive. So what's the disconnect here? What's the disconnect?
So the disconnect is the regular people might not appreciate some of the characters' kind of moody whininess. Some, not Daredevil. There's a lot of Daredevil like the previous 2 seasons. So the previous 2 seasons, he constantly gets his ass kicked. And that's a continuing trend.
Sure.
But I haven't watched season 3 yet, but Daredevil is one of those characters who should get his ass kicked.
He does in the comics too.
Yeah,
I mean, he wins in the end, but
he's one of those characters who always takes a punch.
I think they did a better job of Fisk. He's gotten better.
Yeah.
The other villain in the show is fantastic.
Is someone we don't know?
You may or may not know. I'm not going to say.
The imposter Daredevil, right?
Right.
I think they made that. I mean,
I think they really.
I don't know if I want to. I don't
Tobias,
know. Is it supposed to be a secret?
Okay, I'm going to spoil it if you don't know it. It's okay. So it's known that it's Bullseye.
Yeah. Okay.
They do a fantastic job
in the
of
first
building
trailer,
up who he is.
Yeah,
like
in the
where
first
he came
trailer,
from.
they don't tell you it's Bullseye, but I feel like that they like before the show aired, that just came out, and they're like, it's Bullseye.
They had a different trailer before that.
Yeah, they showed him. Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
You watch that trailer, the first trailer, and you're like,
that's Bullseye. Yeah. Is there a reason they hide that? This goes back to Star Trek Into Darkness when they were like the whole Khan thing was so. And like I always go back to that. I'm like, why would you hide the villain's identity?
They didn't hide him because they used his regular name. But if you don't follow it very much, you don't know his name is Poindexter.
But I just don't know why. Why do they do that? Period. I understand. Like, I know, like, people complained about Batman v Superman, where they're like, oh, they showed too much of the Doomsday stuff in the trailer. They like that they could have held off on a lot of that. I mean, I kind of understand that, but it'd be like them coming out for like, I don't know, the Wonder Woman movie and being like, oh, well, we don't know who the villain is. Like, well, it's just fucking Cheetah. Like, what does it matter?
Worse with Star Trek Into Darkness is they were saying it's not Khan. Not just hiding it.
Yeah.
Specifically not. And I still think that movie would have been better if it wasn't. But that's another podcast.
Yeah. That's the truth. But
I just don't get that rationale.
Bullseye is awesome.
Yeah, cool. No, he should be.
He's really good. Tobias, you haven't seen any of this?
10 minutes.
I'm assuming he's working with Kingpin? Because that's
wait.
Again, that's not a spoiler. He works with Kingpin all the time.
Well, yes. I mean, once you figure out that this character is Bullseye, you kind of figure out who it is, then you're like, how is this going to happen?
Yeah.
And how it happens is, I feel like they did a really good job of setting up how it actually happens.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm super excited to watch this. I just finished Luke Cage season 2, which was all right. It ended fine. I'm glad it ended the way it did, as far as characters being written off and who lives and everything. I won't go into full spoilers, but it wasn't as good as the entire season. But I'm about to start Iron Fist, and then I'll go right into Daredevil. So I'm super excited. I'm glad it's being received well because.
Well, Daredevil season 1, we did a podcast on that. I remember. Yeah. That is still, to me, a top 5 Marvel property, including all the theatrical stuff.
Yeah.
Season 1. Season 2, significant drop-off to me from 1. Like 2 letter grades worth of drop-off.
Because it was like 2 different stories trying to mesh together.
That was, again, I've mentioned this many times, but the Punisher stuff of Daredevil season 2 was my favorite, and the Elektra stuff was among the worst of the Netflix stuff. So I liked season 1. I didn't love it. I liked it. I'm so conflicted on season 2 because I loved half of it and hated half of it. So I'm not. The only season I've liked start to finish was Jessica Jones season 1. That's the only one that I've legitimately loved start to finish. So hopefully this is right up there.
So far, 6 in, I really like it. I really like it.
Yeah.
But
Good.
And I was so on Iron Fist, who's my favorite character, and they did a better job with the second season. It just wasn't.
I heard season 2 was pretty good.
It's just, I mean, it's choppy, just like Luke Cage was kind of choppy here and there. They got it on some episodes and didn't get it on others, and could have tied up some different stuff.
With season 2 of Luke Cage, I really like Bushmaster, and I just got so bored with Black Mariah. Like, it's just like, come the fuck on, like, throw this lady in a ditch, like, get the hell away from her. She's like, why would anyone try to deal with her again? She's the worst. So,
I was already tired of her after season 1.
Yeah, so. Exactly. You know, I mean, I understand Luke Cage, but even at the end, Luke Cage is like, fuck her. Like, I'm not doing shit to help her again. Like, I saved her ass like 10 times. That's it. She's on her own now. So
she was hot trash at the end. I mean, that's...
But I, you know, it's a case where I like that Bushmaster he kind of just like takes off. Like, we don't get a real, I feel, a satisfying conclusion to his story, but well, this will go straight into one of the other stories about the fact that on the heels of Iron Fist getting canceled, now Luke Cage has been canceled. So 2 seasons for Iron Fist, 2 seasons for Luke Cage.
I'm telling you, it's a conspiracy. But Heroes for Hire's coming.
Yeah, the Luke Cage cancellation was a little weird because I could have sworn they had already renewed it, and then
they did
in the production they decided to cancel it instead.
There was some article that came out today where apparently it was like last minute creative differences they couldn't resolve, and they just said, okay, we're just going to scrap it then. I don't know what that, I mean, that seems weird, but if these series are as successful as Netflix and Marvel are claiming, wouldn't you just work around that? I mean, or postpone another few months to...
No, I think the Heroes for Hire theory is...
Well, or they canceled them because they couldn't renegotiate it for another season because Marvel's going to start a streaming service.
I mean, it's possible.
But there is...
Netflix is like co-production on this stuff, right? I mean, it's not like it's just made by Marvel and Disney. So I think...
And I mean, the thing about the streaming service that's going to have the other Marvel properties is, even as it is, they're trying to shy away from too adult content.
Yeah.
So they're not trying to put some of the... Because, I mean, Disney owns practically everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're not going to see a Punisher show on that streaming service.
No. Which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny? I completely forgot the Punisher show existed. I was making a list of the shows, and I was thinking, like, what's missing? I'm like, no, that's every season. I'm like, oh, the Punisher. I forgot that had a season.
And it's getting a second season.
Yeah.
So let me tweet in a listener question for this.
Go for it.
If there's no Luke Cage and no Iron Fist, and you could pick a new Marvel Netflix series to have a season of, what would you pick?
Moon Knight.
I mean, Moon Knight's the obvious answer. That's been the talk for years now. That would sort of fit. And it fits with the Marvel Knights tone. Who else fits in that category? I think would be good.
You don't have to force it to fit.
I'd like to get a Superior Foes.
Well, but it does kind of... It would be weird if... I mean, I can see them doing... I mean, they're not going to, because they already have a show, but a real Cloak and Dagger show would be fucking awesome. Sorry, Teeny Bopper CW show, like Cloak and Dagger show, like a real CW, Jesus. A real Cloak and Dagger would be cool as hell, and it could be a little different. I mean, they have the hand, so they have some kind of magical stuff in these shows, but Cloak and Dagger would work really well.
I will pick, since Moon Knight is too obvious of a choice, I will pick Shang-Chi.
Oh, yeah.
If they could do the martial arts well.
Yeah.
Get the guys from Into the Badlands. I'm telling you.
Would it just be like, it's just another Iron Fist, right? I mean...
Well, they should have had them do Iron Fist in the first place, too.
That show's great.
No way, man. Blade. Yes.
Yeah, Blade would be good.
Yeah.
Bring Blade in.
Yeah.
It'd be so good.
Just have Wesley Snipes play something on that.
I would
Wesley Snipes has nothing to... He doesn't have to have anything to do with it.
I would love...
He really doesn't.
So
it's unnecessary.
So a thumbs up for Daredevil season 3 so far?
Way up for me.
Cool.
I think it's a fantastic property.
You said, Kevin, you saw a couple?
First 2.
Okay. And Charlie, you haven't started yet? Okay.
No, I'm still finishing Luke Cage season 2.
Yeah. Are you going to do Iron Fist next? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Luke Cage definitely.
I'm just going to skip those and do Daredevil 3 when I get a chance.
Yeah, Luke Cage. Again, I like season 2. It's maybe not as strong as the first half of season 1, but it's way better than the back half of season 1. So to me, it's a much more even season. This stuff I really like in this. I love Bushmaster. He's fantastic.
So combined, there's one good season of Luke Cage.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I think on average, season 2 is better than season 1, but the highs of 1 are better than the highs of 2. Again, not a phrase I ever would have expected to say ever. But man, Bushmaster's a really good villain. Like, they did a really good job with Bushmaster. I like him. I was totally different, right? I mean, it's a completely different character. But I like the story, and I like to take on him in this. It's cool. What else we got? There was a few other TV movie things.
Wonder Woman got pushed back.
Yeah. Let's talk about Wonder Woman and Titans real quick. So Wonder Woman originally was scheduled for June 2020. They actually moved it forward to November 2019, and now it's pushed back to June 2020. So I don't know. These things happen all the time. They just pulled a movie off Marvel's release for 2020, which I'm assuming was going to be Guardians 3. And that's not going to happen anytime soon. So Wonder Woman moving and taking a similar spot.
No Adam Warlock.
So I don't know what the intent for Wonder Woman here is, if they want to get more work done on it, or if they just, they just think it'll make more money in June than it will in November. I kind of hate that.
Movies make money all year round now.
Right. It's such a dumb argument.
What is the next DC movie? Aquaman.
Aquaman?
But I mean, after Aquaman.
Shazam.
Okay. And then Wonder Woman.
And then Wonder Woman. Yeah. Yep. So
we're doing a midnight on Aquaman, right?
I mean, once the tickets go on sale, I'll see what I can get. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, I mean, DC.
We going to Sticky Theater?
I guess Joker. Is Joker 2020 or Joker 2019? I think Joker's 2019.
2019. I think it's after.
Yeah.
I think there's about 5 people super interested in that.
I think it has potential.
Like I said,
I
feel like there's 5. You're one.
I'm interested in the way that
I'll go.
If Ryan came up to me with a box and said, "You want to see something really gross?"
What's in the box?
I would be kind of like,
in the box?
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in that morbid fascination way.
It's the same fascination that I had for Venom, and I don't feel like it's going to be that bad. So it won't be that good.
No, I think.
Charlie, did you see Venom?
Process the bad.
No, I haven't seen Venom, but I don't know. It's one of those things that I totally accept the fact that it could be terrible.
Hot trash.
But I also totally accept the fact that if they let it go as dark as they could with the Joker, it could be one of those that just, it may technically be a comic book movie, but it may not feel like a comic book movie.
Yeah, Venom's real stupid. We talked about this, but it's great, right?
Yeah.
I think Joker's going to be legitimately good. I have high hopes for it, so we'll see.
I don't trust you. I can't.
I mean,
trust
if it's basically a serial killer movie that happens to be Joker, because there's nothing in it that suggests that you're going to get a lot of the Bat family or that kind of stuff.
Any of the Bat family,
which sort of suggests it's literally just this very dark origin take on the Joker that I do think it's one of those that might surprise people.
So that actor playing Bruce Wayne is, I didn't see a picture of him. He's a kid though, right?
Yeah. No, I thought this was supposed to take place before he was born, but I guess it's going to take place, shortly after. He's like not even Gotham age. Like, this is like, as long as they don't have the Joker kill the Waynes, that's the concern, obviously.
Was there Thomas Wayne in it?
Yeah, he's going to be one of the main characters. Yeah. But they're pushing it back to for Wonder Woman. Sorry, get back to Wonder Woman. Yeah, they're pushing it back to. I have a date here. This is June 2020, I believe. Like that first weekend in June, I think it is. Let's see. Yep, from November to June 5th, 2020. So that's fine.
Why do you think it was pushed? What's your
summer date? It happened immediately after Marvel canceled their May 2020 schedule, which is going to be Guardians 3. So DC's like Wonder Woman in the prime spot. So
let's go.
Yeah, which is again, I hate that shit, but whatever. If they think that's going to make them more money, they're going to do it.
To me, it's just a general.
They're going to make money regardless.
To me, it doesn't really matter. Time goes by in the blink of an eye.
Yeah. We do want to talk about one more TV thing and some light spoilers here.
Teen Titans.
Who's watching Titans? Does anyone watch? Charlie, do you see episode 2 yet? Okay.
I've not seen episode 1.
I actually had warning that we'd be talking about that wasn't a few hours before recording.
So Charlie went out and watched them while I was like, nope, I'm not.
All right, spoil away. I'm probably at least a year away from seeing it. So.
Yes.
Yeah, there's not.
I'm like, Brock, don't spoil the Super Bowl from last year. I haven't seen it yet.
There's not
I don't watch the Super Bowl.
a ton to spoil because we are really early on, right? There's not like major shocking developments.
He just wants to say one thing. Like it's just on the tip of his tongue. He just wants to blurt it out.
There is, and again, a little bit of spoilers here. There is a character that
everything anyway.
Seemingly appears to die in this episode, right? Except they're listed for every single episode of the entire series on IMDb. So I assume that means the character is not dead because they're going to be on the rest of the show.
That, or they just had a lot of fun updating IMDb to be like, let's fake people out.
As far as I know, Hawk and Dove are going to be on like most of the episodes of this season.
When they trolled you and said they died?
Which I didn't realize when the show started, that they were going to be such a major factor in the show. I want to get this out there. This Titan show is fucking bananas. It's awesome. I mean, it's sorry, Scott, it's way better than the Netflix shows at this point. 2 episodes in, and I'm like, nope, Titans is the king of the of the non-CW superhero shows. It's not even close.
This right now,
it's so good.
This right now is Ryan talking about Green Lantern.
That's
what I feel like this
good.
is. So
good.
You guys do not pump yourselves up.
Say what his favorite part was.
Do not pump yourselves up,
Charlie.
Over
Hawk
this.
and Dove, fucking awesome.
They were really amazing, actually.
Okay, you might be. I might believe Charlie.
If I have a complaint, it's a complaint I have in a lot of stuff because it's rarely done well, and that's CGI blood. Whenever they have CGI blood in something, it's always like, oh, it just doesn't look. Yeah, it just doesn't look right, and everything does it these days. But it is kind of like, well, you guys overdo it a little bit on this show.
It says on washing costumes.
Yeah. That said, though, when Robin stabs this dude in the dick, holy shit! I have never laughed so hard in my life. He stabs this dude straight in the dick. It's the funniest thing.
So basically,
I like how our
good.
Conspiracy thing is becoming about dick.
You know what I want to call out here?
It's so good with a pair of like shearing.
10 minutes
blades.
ago, you said, I can't believe I'm saying this sentence, but Bushmaster's a really good villain.
Yeah.
Now you've just uttered the sentence, when Robin stabs this dude in the dick.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I feel like
so
your credibility is just going down and down and down right now.
Like, this is a dark ass.
it's an incredibly dark show.
Yeah, I almost said Tim Drake. This is a dark ass Dick Grayson, and it's really good.
Ryan, if I go watch this show and I'm like, this is better than Daredevil season 1 and 3.
It's really good.
So I don't agree so far that it's better than Daredevil season 1. Haven't watched 3 yet.
Guys,
obviously.
listen to Charlie.
But
Ryan gets really excited about his DC properties.
A large part of that is watching Daredevil season 1, I recognize the characters. Watching Titans, I recognize, like, Hawk and Dove were amazing, but I also very much recognize them from that's Hawk and Dove from the comic books for the most part. Dick Grayson doesn't feel like Dick Grayson to me at all in the show. And Raven is definitely, like, I'm waiting for Raven to evolve a little bit more into.
She's not Raven yet, but
you can see the path of her becoming Raven.
Yeah. It's really weird that Starfire and Beast Boy were just straight up not in this episode at all, which I had. Like, they have focused more on Hawk and Dove than any member of the Teen Titans in these first 2 episodes, and that includes Raven and Nightwing. It's really weird. Someone was like, we have this idea for this Hawk and Dove show. Stop the program. We're going to do this Hawk and Dove thing instead. It's kind of
Titans, so people might actually fucking watch it.
But it's great.
Yeah. So I guess
Hawk's a fucking asshole in this show, which
is normal.
Which is Hawk, yeah.
But that would be my one thing about the show is it's very engaging, very good. I'm very invested to see the arcs of the characters and such. But it's also one of those things where one of my favorite things about watching comic book properties is feeling that sort of synergy with the characters from the books. Mm-hmm. I don't see that yet with a good amount of the characters in Titans.
Yeah. So it's just a show.
Yeah. It's just a really good show.
A mutant show.
Yeah.
Nah, it's really good so far.
But all that being said, they do catch me off guard occasionally with some of the directions they go.
When they stab a dude in the dick.
Yeah.
Okay, you said that like 5 times, and
because it's great.
See, I'm surprised. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten a GIF or like a small video.
I was looking for it and I couldn't find it.
Why didn't you just make one?
I should. Oh, I can actually because it's on the streaming site. That's easy. The villain in this arc was the Nuclear Family. Do you know the Nuclear Family? Mm-hmm. They're like this robotic family,
very low end.
Yeah, like
Titans,
Z-list.
Yeah.
Like outsiders villains, right?
I think I saw them last in
Doom Patrol.
Super Sons. I think.
Yeah, I think they were in Super Sons.
Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the one
Challengers
where
of the Unknown,
like a Mazo Kid robot.
Yeah, it is similar to that. So very, very super random villains, but they were really good. I mean, in this, it is unclear if they were robots. They appear to just be human. We don't. I mean, they're super strong, but I guess they inject themselves with that stuff, so I think they're just human. Yeah. But, oh my God, episode 2 is so good.
Especially
Please don't tell me you stabbed somebody in the dick again, and that's the best thing about the episode.
With the open shears, so it's twice. Jesus. It's so good.
So does he actually stab him in the dick, or is he just stabbing him in his legs?
Technically, he may stab him in the balls.
Okay, we don't need to go too far down this rabbit hole, but Robin is fighting with garden shears?
Well, the guy had garden shears.
The villain.
He was going to cut off Hawk's dick.
The shear.
He was going to cut off Hawk's dick.
What is with DC and this?
And so Robin takes him and stabs him with the open shears.
Dick. We got a dick going from dick to
really
Rick.
Good.
Now
really
we have.
Good.
Well, if it's got the Nuclear Family,
then
I guess there's hope out there for when the Doom Patrol, we might get finally a live-action animal, vegetable, mineral man.
Do you remember how I said, how the hell are they going to do Morrison's Doom Patrol in the show? Oh, I don't even question it now. Like, they're so far gone. This show's so wacky. He's going to be in it. Mr. Nobody's just going to straight up be Mr. Nobody. I mean, it's going to be as crazy.
Look, that's when I'm going to sign up, when that comes.
I want to hear from somebody else.
They appear in Titans first, or in like episode 4 or 5. The show?
The show, it's the series itself.
It's like February or March or something.
I really want to see somebody else's review on this.
Ask Toby. He loves it too.
No.
He does. It's really good.
Gosh, I wish Toby was here right now.
A couple people on the forums really liked it too. Especially when he stabs that dude.
Ask some of your Joshua bros.
So good. Anyway.
Look. I'll ask the Josh bros, and we will get back to you. We are united, and we will speak as one.
It's one mega mind.
One mega mind. The Josh Bros.
Oh, it is so good.
Josh Bros, you know who you are.
It's very
let the man keep you down.
Very, very little comic news to talk about this week. The only thing that I pulled out I thought was interesting, only because it was really weird that it would happen in the first place, and I'm not surprised that it's over, is Archie, who was publishing Marvel Digests for some reason. It's been canceled, and the upcoming issues have all been canceled. I don't know why this happened in the first place. I don't know why they ended it. What a weird little side note for history. Yeah. I kind of wonder if IDW somehow picked up
the digest rights?
Maybe.
Oh, God, those digests are going to be horrible with that paper stock.
I don't know if... It's really weird. We went on about IDW publishing the kids comics.
Yeah.
And
they're doing they have the Star Wars line.
Yeah, for the kids stuff.
Now they're doing the Marvel stuff.
The kids Marvel stuff. It's so weird. So now
it's like
3
Marvel
comic companies.
Comics.
They apparently can't publish this stuff. I mean, I get it with Archie. They already have the into newsstands and supermarkets. They already publish digests, so it sort of makes sense to just say, hey, just give us our 20% or whatever and just go for it and go wild. But it's so weird that they would just cancel it out of nowhere, too, and cancel the upcoming issue. So something had to have happened. I don't know what the hell's going on with Archie. But Archie doesn't publish anything like long-term either. Archie's really weird. Everything's cut really short now. Nothing runs long-term. Every time they announce a series, it ends abruptly. Like they're terrible with their with hitting deadlines on a lot of their stuff recently.
What was it? The
Vampironica, they axed and redid a bunch of issues of, and now they're coming out crazy fast. The Jughead werewolf book that they did, the Archie zombie book is straight up not happening anymore. It's just over.
It's just sad because that was really good.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, those first few issues are really good. So I don't know what the hell's going on.
He's not taking a picture of you. He's just playing Marvel Puzzle Quest.
I don't even know who you are.
What?
Who are you anymore?
What are you talking about?
I don't know. It's all.
Did you read Archie Zombie? It's really good. Afterlife with Archie.
I don't know you.
I read it.
Yeah.
Dick jokes.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke. He stabs the guy.
Yeah, it's really brutal.
And the garden shears are open, so he gets stabbed twice.
Yeah. One in each testicle, and then the dick.
How big are these garden shears?
They're pretty big.
Waiting for
Big
this.
enough to cut off Hawk's dick.
I'm going to see it, and I'm going to be
That must be a big dick.
Yeah, they tell Hawk to drop his pants 4 times in this episode.
Oh dear God!
Have you?
Did they do the
It's
squeal
super
like a pig
odd.
line?
Do I
Did
need
they
to
do the
talk to
squeal
Leanne about
like a
taking
pig
care of
line?
you a little bit?
No,
Is she taking
go
care
watch
of you?
Titans. It's really good. It's really. She's already heard me go on about this for days now.
Yeah, she's pissed. She's like, get out of the house.
It's really good. Titans has been. Even Leanna was like, "This is better than I expected," because she thought it looked like fucking trash, right? She was like,
Well,
"Oh,
it
this
did look like trash in all the screenshots.
Yeah, she's like, "This looks terrible. I'm not going to watch it." So when I watched the first episode, she's like, "Whatever, I'm working. Just play it. I'll watch it over your shoulder." And she's like, "Oh, that was all right, actually." And she thought the second episode was all right too. So yeah,
What is her hot take on the dick stabbing?
I think she's fine with it. I don't know. I didn't
Is she
follow
as
up.
excited as you?
I don't
Something
think so.
you should be aware of.
Because if she was, you'd be better looking out. Yeah. Are those garden shears, honey?
I didn't follow up.
Can you step back, please?
You need to put a safety on those garden shears.
But that's no comic news this week. Yeah, just Red Sox news. That's all I care about.
What's the score?
4-3 Boston. Runners on first and third. Look out.
First and
Rafael
third for
Devers.
who?
Rafael Devers is up to bat. We have a whole bunch of questions. I didn't get to some of these. We have a bunch on email.
Holy
you heard about
shit.
You heard of this thing called email?
Emails.
We're gonna get to a couple of these email questions.
That should just be the line. We actually answer your email questions this week.
This is from Bevins, B. Evans.
When was this sent?
October 6th.
That's not that long ago.
That
Of
long
which
ago.
year?
2018.
Okay.
He talks about Venom.
Oh, yeah.
But he says, since Stan Lee is going on in years, I've started wondering, what if they keep putting Stan Lee cameos in future Marvel movie after he dies as a CG creation?
Yes.
How would you feel about that?
Amazing.
It occurs to me that Disney almost certainly has high-resolution 3D scans of Stan's face right now, or could build them out of existing material if necessary. They've done a pretty good job
Talking about 3D printing Stan Lee?
digitally de-aging actors. You're bringing them back to life, Peter Cushing and Carrie Fisher, and they're only going to get better. It seems like Stan would probably be into it, but who knows?
Oh, yeah. I would just have Stan record a bunch of clips on
Well, I
green
think
screen.
they already did a fair
They've
amount.
done a fair amount.
He says there's always a question of consent, of course. It could go 3 ways. He's okay with it, and Disney probably already has his signature. He's not okay with it.
Everybody's got a
Specifically says no, or he hasn't said one way or another, or we don't know because of his current state. What are your thoughts?
Baseball.
That's
Balls, yes.
I think it's very possible. I think the idea of, look, let's just get Stan Lee to sit in a chair and say these 300 lines,
And then let's just clip
and
them
then
in
let's just
whichever
figure
one
something
works.
out. He's the Watcher. He's Galactus. He's every major. He's
He could be a head in a.
He's everybody
in a
Right.
and
jar.
nobody.
Yeah.
right. He's every major celestial being in the Marvel
Yeah,
universe.
he's one of the faces of the Living Tribunal.
Sure, exactly. Right.
He's the planet ego when it comes
put him
back.
put him in a pizza delivery outfit. Put him in a UPS outfit. Put him in every kind of delivery. He's done the mail bag. Right, he's done a bunch of these already.
DJ in a strip club.
Right, had just set up around him and green screen all this, and then
Yeah.
he could do whatever he wants. Right, they probably have already done that. We know they've recorded cameos for movies that they haven't even started filming yet, so they're out there. But I get the feeling that much after he's dead, he'll still be in movies for quite some time.
I hope so.
And if you look at Stan's various incarnations through the years, including Stan's soapbox, Stan narrating the old Marvel cartoons, all of this,
Yeah.
I think it's a safe guess that Stan Lee would have no problem carrying on in movies after his death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they could take again. They could just take.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
They could just take the audio from all his interviews. So I burned all those Spider-Man and X-Men and all the animated series DVDs, and he has tons of interviews on those things talking about the characters. They could rip bits of audio from all his interviews through the years, and and he talks about the characters regularly. So saying their names, there's he said Spider-Man 1,000,000 times. You could rip all those and put something together.
He said penis.
I mean, you could sit him down for a week in a studio in Burbank, and you'll be set for the next 10 years.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Just send somebody to his house.
That's what they do at this point.
Well, so Teen Titans Go, I think we talked about this.
I think we talked briefly, but not very much about the movie.
Teen Titans Go to the movies.
It was brief, not
Bryce.
I don't remember if we talked about this, but if you didn't hear me say this, I'll say it again. And if you did,
then
I'm going to say it again.
Go listen to it again. Sucker.
So he has a cameo in that movie in Teen Titans, right? In the animated movie, and when you're listening to it, it sounds off. And the reason is because they apparently had like this very small window. They went to his house and recorded at his house.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, and all the audio equipment failed. Like the board failed. So they basically like grabbed their iPhone and just recorded him on that, and that's what they put in the movie. So it sounds a little weird in the movie because it's not the same recording quality as everything else. But yeah, they could do that for a 1,000 different lines and just have him say a shitload of stuff. So yeah, I think it's very, very likely. He also said, I just got done watching Venom. My expectations were very low when I went in, and it exceeded my expectations. Thought it was pretty fun, although it had a ton of flaws. Well, that is true.
An incredible amount of flaws.
But still fun.
Still fun. How's it doing in the box office still? I haven't checked.
I mean, it was number 1 at least 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was this past weekend, but...
It got Halloween knocked
Oh, Halloween, that's right. Yeah,
I heard that was good.
Yeah, really good. We talked about it in the Geek Box last night for quite some time.
Have you seen it?
No, Ryan Scott did.
I'll take it up offline.
Offline? You didn't like it?
This is not the. It's not a comic.
It's the Halloween podcast.
It's not a comics topic.
That's next week.
That's next week.
This is from Hunter. He says, with Mr. Miracle ending...
This is an email?
Is it an email? Still.
What's the date?
August 31st.
Jesus.
2018.
Okay, well, because he references Mr. Miracle ending.
Yeah, with Mr. Miracle ending, what characters or title does the gang want Tom King and Mitch Gerads to do next? I previously said Animal Man would be perfect.
I'm going to go with Prez.
No, Mark Russell did such a good job.
No, I want the original incarnation.
Oh, God.
With the red turtleneck and the blonde mop top.
I would like him to go deep and go Zan, Jaina, and the Wonder Twins.
There's going to be a Wonder Twins comic. It's coming out of the Bendis Young Justice line. Yeah, sorry, I was going to say Super Friends. Yeah, Young Justice, which is cool.
I want the Question.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that'd be
a good
really
one,
good.
Charles.
Apparently, Bendis is bringing back the Question too.
Okay, fine.
Original
if
last
I
question.
can't do Prez, I'm going with...
what about the Phantom Stranger?
I'm going with Brother Power the Geek.
Jesus Christ.
Phantom Stranger.
I love Phantom
sweet.
Stranger. Phantom Stranger's
Spectre.
really good.
Spectre would be good.
He would do a good Spectre.
But I'm thinking of that, the way they've been doing that book with those 9-panel pages.
Yeah.
It doesn't really lend itself to big, cosmic, weird shit.
Yeah.
That's why I was trying to think of more contained characters.
Well, his you read his Commandy, his one-off issue that he did?
That was really
Is it good?
So
was that in
good.
Commandy Challenge?
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Easily the best issue.
When did
of
that come
no
out?
Question. Was Commandy Challenge was last year?
Yeah.
It was last year. I wouldn't know. Was it? Were we on the hub then?
No, we weren't. It was 12 one-shots.
So then it was your fault that I didn't get it.
Maybe. Did you get any of them?
No.
Okay. It was 12 one-shots. It was like the old DC Challenge reissue led into the next issue by 12 different creative teams.
You know,
it was
eh.
Okay.
But
that Tom King issue
the Tom
was
King
shit.
issue was amazing. He does the art with what's his face from Turtles.
Yeah, Eastman.
Yeah.
Eastman and Laird, or just Eastman?
I would like to see him do Justice League International. Yeah. That would be cool.
Scroll the Blue Beetle. They're going to be
Little
in
Super Buddies.
Yeah, they're going to be in
Throwing Mary Marvel.
They're going to be in Heroes in Crisis. Yeah, I don't know.
That's next week.
Yeah, number 2. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
thank
Can't
God.
wait.
You got to think dialogue heavy and contained story. This is presuming that them reteaming equals a book like Mr. Miracle.
Yeah. Well, they said there is another book. They're working on one. It's basically, what was their Vertigo book? Why am I blanking on the name?
Sheriff of Babylon.
Sheriff of Babylon, Mr. Miracle, and the new book are Envision, I think, says they kind of loosely fits into this as well, but they're all tonally similar. So soul-crushingly...
Sheriff of Babylon is tonally similar to...
That's what he said.
I mean, there are aspects of it that are similar, but for the most part, Sheriff of Babylon's just dark.
Oh, they're all dark. Oh, this last issue of Mr. Miracle was so good.
Oh, yeah.
Behind.
It's so fantastic.
Veggie trays, baby.
Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know. I
just let him do his thing.
Yeah,
don't care.
Yeah,
Deathstroke.
It doesn't matter really who he handles. Like,
what about oh god, why am I blanking on it? The Digby's.
Oh, Elongated Man.
Yeah.
Oh, Sue and Ralph. Oh, yeah, I can see that. I think he could do. Oh, you know what? I want to see Metal Men. That's what I want. I want Metal Men. I think he could do a real, just gut wrenching Metal Men story.
So, Tom, if you're listening, because I know you listen every now and then, call in and let us know what you want to do, and we'll see if we can talk to your bosses. We have no pull.
That's
but
not how it works.
That's not?
No.
Shoot. Thought I was on a more important podcast. That must be the other one I'm on.
Yeah, Scott's on a good one. Joshua's not.
Josh is on the best. You don't. The Josh is the power of the Josh Bros. I don't think you quite understand.
Got a nice retailer question here.
Ooh, who's it from?
From Robin. This is dated back August 11th, not too long ago. Although actually forwarded same day by Ryan Scott because it went to the Geekbox address.
So Ryan reads them as they come in. And then 3 months later, we get to them.
Well, I always go to Twitter first, but we didn't have much news today, so I figure we can get to a bunch of these recent emails. So I was wondering if you guys
is 3 months old.
Well, we don't get a lot of emails. It's all on Twitter. I was wondering if you're stored a discount on and this is specifically for Fantastic Four #1, but we have more stuff to talk about here. I was wondering if you're stored a discount on Fantastic Four #1. My comic shop gave me the book at 50% off Newberry Comics. I was wondering if this was a Marvel thing to goose sales to help the store with all those variants. There was no publicity about the discount. I only noticed because I checked the receipt when I thought the amount they charged me was too low. Love the show. Already miss Bryce. Not. Wow. Whoa. Bryce just got nodded.
Yeah.
He'll be back in a few weeks. We could tell him.
Yeah, sometime October.
Yeah. October, November. Whenever those days is one of those days.
He'll be on a Tuesday that ends in Y.
Yeah. Oh, this is actually a really good point. Before we're going to answer this question, we should point out. I actually meant to do this a few weeks ago. So November 6th, we will not be recording a podcast because we're either going to be drinking heavily or drinking heavily.
Is that being held here? Comics Conspiracy Election Night Party?
We should just turn on the mics and just record.
Just live tweet. So what? Roughly 4:00 or so West Coast time, we'll start getting East Coast results. So we'll be clearing up, shutting down, putting the books out, and then me and Brock will probably hang out for a little while. I'll probably want to get home before the night gets too late.
So we're not recording.
Yeah, not recording on Tuesday, November 6th. There are much more important things that most people should be doing.
Are you listening?
No, nothing, none of that.
Toby, are you listening?
There's much
Bryce,
more important things
out there?
To be doing on Tuesday, November 6th.
We're going to Charlie's house.
If you have not already submitted your early ballot or your mail-in ballot, I know myself and Brock both have, please remember to go vote on November 6th.
Especially if you live in certain states.
Yes, especially if you live in certain states. And if you have listened to 300 and however many episodes of this podcast.
73.
And you probably know our politics by now. We tend to not shy away from it too heavily. And you still are listening to us. You probably know which way we suggest you vote. And, it's good to vote either way, but. Oh,
God. Blue wave.
Yeah. Fantastic Four #1 discounts. It just reminded me that we weren't going to be recording.
Wow, that is a stretch from Fantastic Four discounts. Whose question is this?
It's from Robin.
Well, it started with the guy going, Bryce has missed not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and then I was yelling
breadcrumbs back to the question.
Yelling about Bryce not, about him being 3 weeks late to be back on the podcast. And then, yeah. So anyway.
Well, it's difficult buying a mic.
Anyway. No, if there was no discounts on Fantastic Four #1 or anything, a lot of stores will go crazy heavy on a book to get the high-tier variants and then sell the book cheap just to recoup costs or sell more copies. Yeah. We've done it before. I didn't do it with FF #1, although we did have many extra copies. I'll probably just give them away on Free Comic Book Day because we have like a box of #1s left. But it was because we qualified for all these high-tier variants. We got a good deal on it, so, that's pretty common, but it's great if a store is offering a cheap copy and you pick it up. Yeah, I mean,
we did it for Legacy.
Marvel Legacy, we did it. I know we gave away. We've done stuff like this before. Mr. Miracle #1, I gave away free to our Batman subscribers. When I was gone on the honeymoon, when Rebirth came out, we gave away free copies that night.
We did free copies on the midnight release, and then
Ryan didn't want to sell them. Ryan wanted to sell them, but Brock just gave them away.
No, every subscriber got a free copy.
Yeah.
Every person who was subscribed to a DC title.
Yep.
So if they were Marvel centric, they didn't get it.
So Bryce didn't get a copy. Yeah. So
sucker.
Do you have an email from July?
I mean,
2017.
Should I read the oldest email?
Yes.
That I have?
Yes.
Because I think I actually did.
Dear Ryan, what do you think about Grant Morrison taking over Batman?
I did go through.
We weren't even recording then.
I think I did go through a while ago and delete.
It's just some New 52 question about. Is it seriously a New 52 question?
Oh, dude. What year? It's 2015, isn't it?
How long do you think Doc Ock will be in Spider-Man's body?
Here's a question from Colin.
Okay, what? It's the date.
No, don't date it.
Colin's probably not even listening.
I have some questions and comments for the podcast on Monday. Wanted to send them now before I forget.
Shit!
Is anyone really surprised by the end of Age of Ultron?
Shut up!
The comic. Not the movie.
No.
The comic.
God, is that 2013?
Ryan.
Oh, it is?
Marvel has a major crossover event coming essentially right after another. Gee, I wonder if they're connected somehow. Combined with Iron Man making comics about too much time travel and destroying time and space. One of those earlier Age of Ultron issues, I think it was pretty evident it was headed this way. That being said, I like the Age of Ultron. I'm looking forward to Infinity. I like that New Avengers is pretty much...
Infinity out like right now?
No, the Hickman Infinity book.
I'm just kidding. It's out now, isn't it?
It's been out for quite some time. I like that New Avengers has pretty much been seeding this breakdown of the universes all along. I was kind of hoping Age of Ultron would reveal at the end that it was an alternative universe all along, which gets destroyed, setting off the chain of events we see in New Avengers.
God, that's
painful. What's this guy's name?
Is Colin. Any other big crossovers, reappearances?
Colin, if you're still listening to this podcast after...
We didn't answer your question.
5
years. We're sorry.
So the
write
question,
us again, and we'll get back to you in 2023.
Any other big crossovers, reappearances, resurrections, time shifts you guys want or expect to see happen in Infinity? That was a question. So, it's the oldest email I have in our inbox.
That's terrible.
Well, we found out what Infinity was. It was 3 different stories somehow crammed together to make no sense.
Yeah, Infinity was a bit of a mess, wasn't it? Like, I liked it enough, but it was a lot. Hickman, I'm really 50-50 on Hickman's
are we really answering this
stuff.
question at this point?
Sure.
We have to.
All right.
We're contractually obligated from 5 years ago to answer
I'm just
question.
50. I'm always 50-50 on Hickman's work. I mean, he doesn't do anything anymore, so whatever. But
east to west.
Like I said, he doesn't do anything anymore. Hickman's Marvel stuff was just so hit or miss. And this comes from Grant Morrison guy, who I get Grant Morrison. Hickman's stuff is just like, yeah, sure, I guess. He had a very similar, everyone talked the same. It's always a big Hickman problem. I don't know. I did like some of his stuff. I liked his FF run, but I think his Avengers stuff just did not work for me. Yeah. Anyone else? Avengers?
Age of Ultron,
Do you
really?
remember? Age of Ultron.
Shit.
Charlie, I got a question here about the Day of the Doctor special on Doctor Who, if you want to talk about that.
I'm really looking forward to Secret Wars, the first one.
The Jim Shooter, Mike Zeck one?
Yeah, I
Oh, yeah.
was so pumped about that
Yeah.
coming out.
Can you imagine all those heroes together in one book? It's crazy, man.
You know what we
First time
should
ever.
do? You know what we should
Contest
do?
of Champions.
Champions, yeah, that was
You know
really
what we
good.
should
I'm looking
do?
forward to
We should
that
bust
too.
open our mail.
All right,
Who
we
is
got
this
some.
Beyonder?
We got some Twitter questions. I like Jerry Curl. We got some Twitter questions here. This is from Spiderus on Twitter. He says, "What is your sales on Transformers comics since it's ending next month? We've sold the exact same number of Transformers comics for like 5 or 6 years now. There's 4 copies to our 4 subscribers for Transformers. When it started, when the IDW stuff started, we were doing pretty well with it, but
It fell off.
yeah,
fast.
there's just too many, and there's so many miniseries relaunches and reboots, and we don't do good with any licensed stuff right now. Almost no licensed stuff.
I'm really looking forward to John Byrne's next one.
How's your orders on the new Firefly?
I got a bunch again, variants and specials and stuff, and it's returnable, so that's always nice. We'll see what happens. As it goes on. But yeah, the last Serenity series, Serenity has done pretty well. That's probably the licensed book's the one we sell the most of.
It's consistent.
We have a lot of just standing subscribers for it.
It's not. It doesn't come out on such a constant basis, and it's like it's boom. They give you a mini, and then they're gone
Well,
for
it's
a little
boom
while.
now.
I think.
Yeah, okay.
I think he said. I think he means boom. There's a mini boom. He wasn't saying boom. It doesn't matter. But G.I. Joe, Transformers, a lot of that stuff, Ghostbusters, we don't sell any of that. It's all subscription only. And yeah, we just don't move that many. I did like it when it started at IDW, but it just didn't stick around. So it was unfortunate.
Although there has been a kind of resurgence for Aliens and Predator. We didn't used to really get any shelf sales, but now we do.
A little bit. Yeah, it's more. It's come back a little bit. I know Dark Horse just released a really nice normal size omnibus of all their early, not an omnibus, like a soft cover collection of all their early Alien stuff, which is really good. That just came out this week. The first volume this week. Yeah. The first volume just came out this week. They have a lot of They just reprinted Alien and Aliens, some nice anniversary hardcovers. I want to say they did it with the first Predator miniseries too. That's the golden age of licensed stuff. The golden age of licensed stuff is the late 70s Marvel, right? Star Wars and Transformers and G.I. Joe in early 80s. That's the Dark Horse, Star Wars, Predator, Alien. That's the Silver Age of licensed comics.
That was the action movie stuff. That was where we actually got
big,
more.
though.
That was where we got more violence and gore and.
Well, Dark Horse. Those books when they were coming out, they were killing it. Those are so good. Those are some of my favorite books coming out. The Terminator book, and I loved all those books. But yeah, it's weird. It's just not what it used to be.
Next Twitter question.
Julian Titus says, "Big Bad Toy Stores."
That's Toby's thing.
Has this amazing 18-inch
No pants,
action
Toby.
figure of Optimus Prime, speaking of Transformers, and Megatron that go for about $200. I don't know which. Yeah, I'm assuming. I don't know what versions those are. I don't know if there's a Masterpiece versions. It sounds like Masterpiece. Transformers is that most cherished thing from my childhood. Please talk me out of this purchase.
No.
Julian, I can't. I'm not even a big Transformer, and I do have I do have one of the Dinobots figures.
The T-Rex one?
Yeah, it was.
I have an OG Soundwave
You really?
Oh,
original
nice.
in the box.
Nice.
Julian,
nice.
you've written to the
Along
wrong
with-
show
Yeah.
because
Along with
Charlie's
the
living
Ravage.
Charlie's living room is basically a bookstore. Brock has no willpower when it comes to
Hey,
statues.
I don't buy all of them.
And-
Only a few lines. There's just a lot out in each line
And
I buy.
Scott is constantly scanning auctions for vintage comics in whatever grade condition. So this is absolutely not the crew you want talking you out of anything.
And I own a
'Cause we're
store.
not-
I
yes.
definitely want you to buy
We're
stuff.
definitely not talking you out of it. I want you to get it.
Yeah.
Take some photos and then send them in.
But
And then
these-
we'll be asking you to talk us out of also buying.
Oh, this was great.
If this
Julian.
is the same
this looks
line,
so good.
they have a bunch of these lines. So look, if you're a hardcore Transformer fan, and you don't already have 25 different Optimus Primes, then one's not going to break you. Because you're not going to be the guy that buys 25 different Optimus Primes. You're not going to have a whole room full
why
of
do I feel like
Transformers
this is gonna
figures.
come back to me and Harley.
Buy your one, and you're done. And you don't need to buy any more, especially if it is like there are some high tier lines of Transformers figures right now. I'm not the biggest fan. I don't know enough about it.
I used to have a Transformer that was like metal, and it was like the red and white plane.
That sounds right.
I don't remember who
Starscream?
No, I don't think it was Starscream. It was like, but that thing was
sounds like
that thing
Starscream.
hurt. It pinched the shit out of you when you were transforming that.
My Soundwave might be a little loose because I probably tried to transform him for
too many times,
over and over and over again.
You're just like cleaning a gun.
Yep, transforming for time.
Zach Fig wants to know when you're going to answer Red Sox questions on the podcast. Well,
what's the score?
5-3 Boston.
That's a question. And next.
6.
All right, next one.
Norman says, what character or book do you have the most of in your personal collection? I'm talking single issues, trades, and hardcovers or combinations of all. Not like statues or toys and stuff.
Well, I was going to say, if you were just counting single issues, it would be Cable. Hands down. Easy. When you start counting hardcovers, it gets complicated.
It's easy for me.
I mean, you don't have a lot of singles anymore.
No.
Yeah.
I held on to my Cable singles, though.
The Amazing Spider-Man, number at least 1 through 400, and then a lot of other ones after Brand New Day because it was a piece of crap.
Yeah, I have I like 520-ish issues of Avengers.
Oh, does a team count?
Well,
because
what character or book? Yeah.
Then I'll go with Justice League.
Yeah,
I got a lot.
That's JLA, like the original series.
How many? What do you have? What do you?
Well,
own
I had the whole run, not the Brave and the Bold issues.
Yeah.
But then there's a bunch of these weird kind of, like the JLA Earth 2.
Yeah.
The offshoot. Then there's the trades like the Crisis on Multiple Earths. So if you add all of that stuff together, it would be Justice League.
What about? And then you mean Justice League International and Justice League Europe? I got a lot of those too.
Yeah, I mean, God, oh, fuck. If you count every incarnation of Justice League, I own every single Justice League comic since probably issue 150 of the original run to now. Every issue, every crossover, every tie-in, every version of New 52, Jim Lee, Jeff Johns, every variant cover.
200.
I have my New 52 run of Justice League is a long box.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, knowing you, I knew you were an Avengers fan.
Yeah.
So that didn't surprise me, but I would have guessed if somebody asked me this question about you, I would have said probably the Legion.
He's not a real Legion fan.
Because I would have guessed between archives.
Between archives and single issues, I own every single issue of the Legion of Superheroes. Yeah. But is that more?
No.
I don't know.
Because you count the Adventure Comics appearances.
I mean, it's 13 archives and like 3 long boxes. It might be more than Avengers. That might not be more than Justice League, though. There's a lot of Justice League. Between all the different tie-in series and specials and stuff, there's a shitload of Justice League.
Batman.
I don't own that much Batman.
I own a fair amount.
I own Batman, Superman, a lot of those characters. I started my kind of permanent collection more recently. I read a lot of them, but I didn't buy a lot of them. Like, I own every issue of. In Flash too. I own a lot of Flash. But there's just not as much Flash as there is Justice League. I just don't think there is. I think there's more Justice League than all that. Yeah, I own some big runs. That's some really big runs.
Yep, I've got a lot of Fantastic Four
through
the 300s.
But again, Fantastic Four just doesn't have the output of Spider-Man.
Avengers, if you count all the Avengers.
Yeah. See, like, I stopped at Disassembled. I don't own New Avengers or any of the later stuff.
Uncanny Avengers and
I don't own any
Avengers.
Of that. I don't own any of that. Oh, I mean, X-Men would be, if you're a Marvel guy, if you're like... Bryce is, clearly X-Men. There's so many X-Men spin-offs and titles. Just a staggering amount, so...
If you count hardcovers, it might be X-Men also.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah. But if you're counting single issues, it's Cable. Easy.
Potbelly Gamers.
Cable fan.
Whoa, Potbelly Gamers asks, after watching Titans Episode 2, Hawk and Dove are awesome. Yes.
I'm going, Dick, can't believe it, man. So freaking awesome. I'm going to go watch it. Go see Green Lantern. Go see Man of Steel.
I like that Warner Brothers tweeted out happy birthday to Ryan Reynolds today with a Green Lantern picture. That's good stuff. He goes, what would be a good story to read with Hawk and Dove? That's a harder question. Because there's not
a lot of
not
good stuff.
many post. I mean,
They weren't in Generations, were they?
there's just not a lot of good Hawk
Justice
and Dove
League Generation.
comics.
That's
Even
one of those
this-
things where
I mean,
they're
not solo Hawk and Dove comics.
they're cool characters that have never had a really good run at any time.
Even in Brave and the Bold, they
So-
weren't that.
so
even
they
those
started-
early runs.
yeah, but I like how they were
Showcase,
dealing
right?
with stuff in like
the
Brightest
Ditko
Day.
issues.
Brightest Day, they were good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brightest Day.
So
were good.
so they were in showcase
Don't
issues.
you feel like that's the first time they were filled out recently, as far as characters go?
Yeah.
They had a mini series in the 80s? Is that the one that
Yeah.
not the one that
Here,
Todd
hold on,
McFarlane did?
I'll look him up.
Didn't
Yeah. Liefeld did the.
Liefeld? Sorry, not
52.
Liefeld.
No,
McFarlane.
Liefeld was not in the 80s.
McFarlane. Didn't McFarlane do a Hawk and Dove miniseries? Am I thinking of the wrong? Am I not thinking of the correct? Someone did a Hawk and Dove miniseries.
Yes, in the 80s there was one.
Yeah. And
I'm picturing the covers, but for some reason it's not clicking.
I thought that was
McFarlane.
the early. I thought one of the early McFarlane issues was Hawk and Dove. I could be wrong. Because he did some random stuff
Yeah.
at DC before he went to Marvel.
So it was 5-issue miniseries by up and coming Rob Liefeld.
Oh, it was Liefeld. Okay.
Okay.
I was right. I was right the first
It
time.
was published in 1988 to
Yeah.
1989.
Dinky.
Well, because the whole thing was Liefeld wanted to do Titans, and they wouldn't let him, so he went and did New Mutants instead. That's the story that you always hear about Rob Liefeld. They were in Titans books, but that's it.
And almost all of these you're mentioning are the two men.
The early stuff, right?
Yeah.
Right. The early stuff. So when does female Dawn?
That's much more recent.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
the 2000s, I want to say.
yeah. Was that post? Because
Was Birds of Prey done?
Yes.
yes, that was the girl. Yeah, and Birds of Prey. That might be. Brock, you have to look that up. I don't know what her first appearance is, but it's late 90s probably.
Yeah,
because
give me a second.
they killed the original
Yeah.
Dove.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
killed the original.
Oh,
Crisis.
yeah. In was it Crisis?
Well, he gets killed
Obliterated,
in
yeah.
Crisis, yeah.
Why am I thinking of?
So
Oh no, wasn't Hawk supposed to be?
in 1989, it
What
was
is that book?
Liefeld drew it when it was the female.
So
Okay, so that was post-Crisis.
that was post Crisis. With Captain Adam, Captain Adam supposed to be the villain. Wasn't Hawk and Dove in that, like a major part of that too? Tip of my tongue. 1990, 1991, big DC crossover. Can't think of it.
52?
No, 1990.
Oh, 1990.
Okay, so
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, move on, Mark.
Okay, so Dawn, D-O-N,
Yeah, was the
killed
original.
in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Okay.
D-A-W-N.
So that may have been the miniseries. That may be her first appearance. It was in the Liefeld miniseries.
I think I'm just getting it confused with Brightest Day.
Yeah, that's way
way
later.
later.
Yeah. Because
But that's when they bring back the original Dove, if I recall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wiki. Sorry, Brock's doing a terrible job of finding it.
Well, no, it's because I'm like, there's
Girl Dove's
it's
first
a
appearance. I'm
little
going to look it up here. But no, I know there's a ton of appearances. But yeah, this is just not a great Hawk and Dove comic. I don't know what to tell people to go to. I mean, yeah, I would read Brightest Day, maybe some old Titans issues.
There's the third incarnation.
Definitely not the New 52,
Ugh.
because Liefeld comes back and does that.
The third incarnation of Hawk and Dove was in 1997 in a miniseries. And that's Dawn's estranged sister. The British and fiery Holly Granger serves as Hawk in Hank's absence until her own death in the 2000s Blackest Night event.
Did they kill her in Blackest Night?
Yeah.
Man, I have not remember any of this. Like, I knew the original Dawn was dead. D-O-N was dead.
Yeah.
Did they?
Well, they bring him back in Brightest Day, if I recall.
Yeah.
So they kill her
I don't know what their
in
status.
Blackest Night.
I don't know what the status of any of these characters is now.
Yeah, so 1986, Carl Gressel
the grind
and
is taking me
Barbara
forever,
Kessel
Like I missed it. I didn't finish it.
revived Hawk and Dove with Dawn Granger as Dove.
Reading Wikipedia entries exciting. Got to go on to the next question.
So anyway, to sum
Hawk
up,
and Dove.
No.
your choices are like the Steve Ditko run from
Yeah.
the Showcase And then they had their own book for, I want to say, maybe
Like a week.
6 issues.
Was it?
No. So
I don't even think.
Volume
I don't
1
even
is
think.
6 issues. Volume 2 is 5. Volume 3 is 28 plus 2 annuals.
Well, I'm talking about the first volume. They appeared in Brave and the Bold a handful of times in the 70s.
Yep.
Then Dawn is killed in Crisis.
Yep.
Then they reboot it with the female Dove.
Yeah, and then that is her first appearance. Yeah, and then there was the ongoing series. Oh, Armageddon. That's what I was thinking.
I
of.
forgot that
That's
book
what I
even
was thinking of.
existed.
Yeah, because Hawk is the bad guy in Armageddon.
Yes.
That's when they
That's
just
right.
go. That's what
Yeah.
I couldn't think of the name of the fucking book.
I was going like Invasion, Millennium.
Yeah.
What's he
Yeah,
talking
no, no,
about?
no.
They're also in.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
Hawk turns into Monarch,
Yes, there's
and that's 0 Hour in the JSA.
They
stuff.
get rid of them after that. There's a trash ass Hawk and Dove that comes later. It could completely
Yeah.
ignore that.
Sasha Martins and Wiley Wolferman.
Yeah, don't even worry about that. Then you have the female Hawk and Dove,
Holly and Dawn Granger.
that's in JSA.
Yeah.
That's the Jeff Johns stuff because he brings it back. And then you have the Black Knight Brightest Day stuff
Black
where
Knight
they
Brightest Day,
die
yeah.
and come back and then just throw the New 52,
the New 52
series in a fire and just.
So this was the long way around of saying there's not
There's not really a
there's not
great-
a definitive Hawk and Dove run.
No, but I mean, Armageddon
Tom
was
King.
They had
You
a
hear
very
that?
good episode of
There's our
Justice
Tom
League
King
Unlimited.
answer.
Oh, Armageddon
Yeah,
2001.
this is true.
Yeah.
Armageddon
really good
0
one.
Hour in JSA is where I would read Hawk and Dove because that's modern enough. It's, especially the JSA stuff is all Jeff Johns. That's what I would read right there. Is that batch?
I mean, that Ditko stuff is very 60s. It's very like the right winger and the left winger.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
every bubble of dialogue is espousing these two political philosophies.
Yeah.
Oh, and it also happens to have some superhero action.
Yeah.
They are in Doomsday Clock.
Yeah, and
On a TV.
we have not seen them in. We have not seen them at all.
The Brightest Day is probably the stuff that was the most interesting, especially it's for Dove.
Yeah.
Hawk's just always been an asshole.
Let's go on. This is from Jor-El. No relation as far as I know. It says, this question is for all the conspirators. What is the worst single-issue comic run or miniseries you've purchased and regretted? Mine was Thanos versus Hulk. Well, Thanos versus Hulk, I don't even know what that is.
That was a mini series they did a few years
Yeah,
ago.
that was a miniseries they did a few years ago when they were doing all those like Thanos minis.
Way to just repeat what he said.
No, they were doing all those Thanos minis. It would be something that he
Yeah, it was the
completely and
Thanos
utterly ignored.
miniseries. where
See,
they did
the thing that amuses me
minis,
about
and
the
everybody
Thanos
ignored
vs.
that.
Hulk is they actually
Savvy
pull
Josh
in,
with
they
garden
actually
shears and
recognize that in the Starlin OGN, if I recall.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, it was fun. I didn't regret reading that at all.
I don't really regret. I just stop, and then
and never look back.
and then they just stack up in your box all
You
nicely.
know what? I have a nomination for this.
What's that?
And I can't call out specifics, so I'm going to have to just speak of it as a general thing. Maybe, Ryan, you correct me on the timeline here. 5 years ago, 7, the DC Retroactive series where they brought back these creators from the 70s
I
and
wanted
80s.
to like that.
I wanted to like it too. I bought them all. And there were some
It's
that
just a
were
slog.
god awful.
Just a slog.
At their best, they were okay.
Yeah.
And there were some that were horrendous.
Yeah. Just a slog.
I hate being negative about things, especially when it's old-time creators
ready for
getting a
this?
chance to do something.
Milkman Man
Hell no.
or Multiversity.
What the fucking
man.
hell?
What's wrong with you?
Now he's just trolling.
I'm not just trolling Ryan now.
Are you secretly posting on the forum on the Geekbox Comic Conspiracy forum as what's his name? Evan? Was that his name? I said Grant Morrison is like one of the worst writers in comics.
I don't remember who said that.
Is that you? Is that secretly you? Is that your sock puppet account? Anyway,
No, I think that's the Josh guy.
No, that's
Is that who's
No,
that
I
him?
think that was somebody
Is that
else.
Travis?
what is the worst comic that I've read recently?
it. Doesn't have to be recent. He said that you've ever read.
So one of the worst
trying to think
comics. One of the worst comics I ever read was the.
Bro, you came in here all full of piss and vinegar the other day over that Lucifer #1.
Oh my fucking god, that was the worst.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet.
No, the DC Universe. Is it the DC Universe Presents with Kid Flash?
We gotta. It's so funny that you mentioned that. We have a question about that in just a minute.
That specific issue?
It is that. It's easily one of the worst. That's one of the worst English he's ever read in a long time.
Charlie?
Lucifer was bad.
I don't get
I
far
think
enough.
I've repressed most of them at this point because I'm having trouble.
Charlie's like me. It's like
The problem is I just don't
they
get
just go
far
to the
enough
back
in,
of the
right?
box and
I read one issue and I'm
just
like, well,
live
that
there.
sucked, and I don't read any more, right? I mean,
it just is over at
The
that
Unexpected
point.
was pretty bad.
I didn't.
I got 3 issues in.
I
and
didn't
was like,
even
I
get
can't.
past issue 1. Like, yeah, that's usually my problem. I
House
just
of Mystery
don't
is
even
pretty
bother. The Whispers, the new one.
Oh, Whispers, yeah.
Yeah,
House of
yeah,
Whispers, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know that I really have an answer to this.
It's that DC Universe presents. Oh! Trauma's coming
It's
back.
one of the recent
Trouble.
runs of Iron Fist where I could not buy it because of the art. It got so bad. It got so bad that it didn't matter what the story was. I just
Yeah, I know.
couldn't
I know the art you're
even
talking about.
look at it. I'm like, this.
It's the Carrie Andrews stuff.
You know what? I hated it so much I didn't even look at the name of the artist. I'm sorry because I didn't want to know who did it because, well, I want him to live a nice life, probably, and he's a terrible artist. But art is just in the eye of the beholder.
It's from Brandon. Ask a question for Brandon. It says, what is the best thing about New 52, and what was the worst thing about the New 52, and why is the answer Bar-Tor? All right? Bart, that's
The best thing.
terrible ass fake Bart Allen. So bad.
The best thing.
The worst thing was Titans, no question asked. The worst thing in New 52 was the Titans.
And
They
the
completely
best
ruined
thing was Animal Man and Swamp Thing.
Are you picking the best series out of these?
the best thing.
Because I'm going to say the worst thing. I got a tie here. One of them's silly and one's I'm being serious. I hated the high neck costume redesigns by Jim Lee.
Yeah, you and a lot of people.
But the legitimately worst thing for me was how they let each editorial department kind of pick how much history they were keeping from the previous incarnation, and it was just a god-awful mess with all these strands of continuity.
Except for Batman and Green Lantern.
Yeah, well, it's like either do a hard reboot or don't. But when you've just got everybody just choose how much history you want to keep. So Batman's had like 6 Robins when the New 52 starts. Like, okay, this is ridiculous.
Been there for 5 years, and that's 6
Yeah.
Robins, yeah. No,
So Titans was definitely really bad. I kind of want to say, so Titans, I was able to read through the first couple of arcs. Hawk and Dove was the only one I gave up on issue 1.
yeah, I mean,
Like, honestly.
but those are
Yeah, but you knew that was coming.
We knew though that was.
yeah, no,
the Titans was the one I was like, who are these characters?
Right,
I don't know them. I will not buy.
it's
4 pages
so
in,
bad.
I'm like, this thing's trash.
so
That's
bad.
not Firestar. This is stupid.
my favorite, outside of Batman and Green Lantern and Justice League, and the expected favorites, my favorite is Justice League Dark. I love Justice League Dark, and just that whole I Vampire.
That was good.
This was really
I
good.
Vampire
Demon Knight
and
Swamp Thing, Animal Man, the whole Justice League Dark
Yep.
line, but Justice League Dark specifically.
I really liked Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's real good.
Oh, one I really enjoyed that most people don't like. I loved Resurrection Man.
Oh yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it's good.
It was really, really.
I think it was just nobody read
Yeah,
Resurrection.
nobody read it and they just canceled it. I'm like, it's so good though.
Yeah, I Vampire is kind of the my series that I go to that like was just unjustly just ignored.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Great art, great story, and it got a
art.
Andreas
finish.
Sorrentino too.
Yeah.
Yep.
It got a finish, and that made me so happy.
I was just telling Brock earlier before we recorded, I find that Justice League Dark from the New 52 vastly better than the current one that's running.
Yes.
The one that just started.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just judging in the number of issues that they've had at this point. Yeah, that's an unsung, really good book.
Yeah.
For anybody who hasn't read that. Is that in a trade?
Oh yeah, they talked about all that.
Is that your
Yeah.
random pick this week?
Brandon?
Justice League Dark.
Brandon
The
also
original.
asks, "Do you prefer Superman stories where Jonathan and Martha Kent are alive or dead? I really like them being alive. Me too.
Makes me
I
happy.
am of all the
I miss having beer on the fence.
Of all
root
the
beer.
post-crisis changes to Superman, and they pulled back on most of them, but the Martha and Jonathan Kent being alive was absolutely my favorite aspect of that. I think it's Superman is much more grounded as a character when he has a direct family here, and you have it with Lois and now John, but I much more prefer those characters to be alive.
I agree.
Makes him more human.
Yeah, it does, and I don't really know why they pulled away from that. It really doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't serve the character any better.
I don't know. Like most things, they'll be alive again, they'll be dead again, they'll be alive again, they'll be dead again. It's just a matter of time.
I mean, I would prefer both alive as my first choice. Martha only alive as my second choice, and both of them dead. I just don't think works as well at all.
But that was the status quo.
Jonathan goes to binge drinking and being mean and aggressive because Martha's dead.
For 50 years, that was the status quo.
Oh, no, they'd be screaming in the farmhouse, Martha!
I do like it when they changed it. I thought it worked much better for Superman. It like Scott said, it really does humanize him a little bit.
Well, I think what it is when I came back into comics,
the key to him as a character is the fact that you humanize him and ground him as a god, essentially. That's his grounding and centering and drawing personality and character trait. So when you eliminate that, it just makes things more difficult to associate.
I also like in a way, it gives you a sense of who Superman's hero is.
Yeah.
And the thing is you have. I mean, when I came back into comics and was reading Action, when Johns was writing it, it was just that you would have those moments, those small moments where he would go home and talk with Martha or talk to his dad. And the thing is they didn't treat him like he was any. They just treated him like their son, and it was he wasn't Superman. He wasn't. It was just we're proud of you, son. And you kind of lose that reflection that you get when you have two characters discussing something versus it's voice narration of what's going on in his head. So
Though I will say that issue of All-Star Superman with Jonathan Kent's death is a masterpiece.
Oh yeah. But All-Star Superman was
out of
its own
continuity.
thing, and it worked within the context of that story. I have a couple more questions. Let's get through these. Let's see. This from I skipped one here.
Wait,
it's from Alex.
Wait, hold on, whoa.
Who'd
you say that was from?
That was from Brandon.
Oh, I thought I heard Josh, and I thought you skipped us.
It's from Alex. He says, DC hasn't reprinted Countdown to Final Crisis in a long time, nor does it sell the collected editions digitally. Only single issues. What's up with that? I mean, a lot of stuff goes out of print. That's just what's up with that.
Yeah, but that felt like it went out of print a lot faster than like 52 and...
Was it the Final Crisis or Infinite Crisis?
Final Crisis,
the Paul Dini.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I think they just did one printing probably, and it just didn't sell great, so they just didn't keep it around. Countdown to Final Crisis is not that good.
I liked it.
Countdown to Final Crisis?
Yes.
Like, if I'm saying
I don't know. I mean, at the time, I had just reread a lot of the Fourth World books.
You guys got to go see it.
I considered it totally a sort of love letter to Kirby and everything he did with the Fourth World and Jimmy Olsen. And
this is the problem.
Stuff.
You have Final Crisis, which takes the Fourth World over here. You have Countdown, which takes it over here, and then you had the Death of the Fourth World.
Death of the
I agree.
New Gods.
I agree. That was a mess.
It was totally different
Death
from
of the New
that.
Gods was horrid.
That was a mess. But if you take Countdown to Final Crisis sort of by itself and ignore leading up to Final Crisis.
Yeah.
Well, it was a lot
and just consider it Dini basically going, this is what I loved when Kirby was writing comic books, and he incorporated a lot of that back into that story.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll defend that book any day.
But I believe we all can agree that Countdown to Final Crisis is far superior to Final Crisis Aftermath.
Well, all the Final Crisis, like everything involving Final Crisis except for Final Crisis itself is not very... I mean, the tie-ins at the time were fine, but all the stuff around it's not good.
Legion of Three Worlds.
Yeah. The stuff during it is fine.
I don't know. Some of those like Requiem and Soliloquy and whatever the other...
No, yeah, they were
Three
okay.
Worlds was awesome.
No, Legion was good.
It's no Trinity, okay?
God, Trinity was one of the worst.
Yeah, Trinity was terrible.
I got about
painful.
6 weeks in.
So see, you got a nominee from earlier.
Yeah,
Trinity is really painful.
I got 6 weeks into that, and the rest of them started to just get filed every week for 52 weeks. I read 6 I had 48.
But you bought 52. That's all that matters, all right? That's all that matters.
What's funny about it is
It's because I stopped reading it. I'm like, I'll go back to it. It
DC
just kept
done-
getting bigger
had
and
done
bigger.
52 and done a great job on 52, and then they had Countdown, which was
That's because 52 had
Do I have
Booster
to
Gold.
start defending Countdown again?
no, it's not. It's not. It wasn't as good as 52. But then Trinity
you do,
came out
Charlie.
afterwards, and it was just like this. That you could just see the downward slope of just those.
Every one was worse than the previous. I mean, that's just straight up. Which is, I'm not saying Countdown was awful. Trinity was awful. Yeah. Countdown was just...
Yeah, you'll notice I'm defending Countdown, not Trinity.
And 52 was great.
Trinity just hot trash.
All right, let's burn through these last 3 questions before we get out of here. Jonathan says, why is it
What's
Marvel...
the score of the baseball game?
5-4 Boston, bottom of 7.
This will be exciting the next day after
Yeah, I
the game's
know,
in
I
the record
know.
books.
Jonathan says... well, just people on either side of the team are just being like, God damn it. Like, because they already know how this ends. But Jonathan says, why is it that Marvel seems to have fewer books in the top 10, yet more issues going back for second, third, or fourth prints than DC? Well, Jonathan, Marvel is full of shit. That's why. They reprint stuff that is not sold out. It's basically a variant cover.
Yeah.
They do a second print. The day books are being launched. It is rarely needed. DC bases their second prints on back-ordered demand. So Batman Damned comes out. It sells out immediately, right?
I love how he's using Batman Damned as an example.
Well,
Which they're not going to reprint.
because it's super... Okay, the only second print DC has done recently, they've done 2. Border Town #1 and Nightwing #50. Those are the only 2 second prints DC has done that I can think of since... I think Doomsday Clock #1, maybe? Like, it has been a while since DC's done a second print.
Well, DC did, what, 7
None of the
reprints?
Flash stuff?
No, nothing.
They did 7 reprints.
Really,
of,
Williamson's
the Rebirth
Flash
special.
stuff didn't get reprinted?
No. I mean, again, so when... This is what DC has said. Sorry, man. I'm coughing over here. My throat's some.
I wonder if Boston's
Keep,
joking, too.
Oh, hopefully not. Yeah, no, just me. Something in my throat's been killing me this whole time. So when DC gets back orders from a comic, something sells out. So let's go with Nightwing 50. And retailers place 1,000 orders for Nightwing 50 that aren't going to fill. DC will go, okay, there's clearly demand. We'll do a second print. Marvel just does it because it's a variant cover. Some of them sell, some of them don't. Like the Venoms were selling extra copies, again, because it's a low-print variant cover.
Some of them gets clearance like 2 years later.
Oh, Marvel's got a variant cover list right now of like 6,400 titles for old variants, and it's
I
shit
love
from
that thing.
it's shit from like older than the emails I just tried to read. Like that's how old some of this stuff is. They're still trying to blow out for like $1 a book, right?
They got Fear Itself variants.
Probably do.
Sweet.
So yeah, that's why they do it. Marco says
You pay
apart
extra
from
for the dust.
Marco says apart from Bryce and
That was
Charlie.
actually a pretty good show.
But it's not Bryce and Charlie. It's just Bryce or any of the other cast members going to pick up the new Uncanny relaunch. You're not picking up Uncanny. You don't buy it.
I'll read it, though.
Yeah, you'll read it. Yeah.
I'll read it.
Sure, I'll read it. Yeah, Bryce, Scott also.
Yes.
You in for Uncanny?
Of course.
Okay.
I always try the new.
10 issues weekly. Possibly relaunching with a new #1 after that.
All the
in.
life just fell out of him.
Yes, I'm in. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait. I'm so pumped for it. Is that good enough, Bryce?
You don't owe him anything.
And final question.
I do.
Jonathan on Twitter. Anyone reading the new Jinx World stuff from Bendis? I am loving cover, he says. I have not read any of them. I've heard good things. First trades have just started to trickle out. So, no. Scarlet and United States of Murder are the old stuff.
Yeah, they're redoing
The old trades.
stuff.
Yeah,
The old
that's
stuff.
right,
The
that's
new
right.
stuff hasn't had trades.
I'm kind of waiting for the first arc to finish because a lot of them are just minis. But yeah, I've heard good things. Sales have been good for what they are here, miles ahead of what they were selling at Marvel for the equivalent titles. So which is really good. DC's getting a lot of push on these.
I've got something to talk about just before we finish up.
Yeah,
Right at the very end.
Anyone to read any of the Next World stuff?
I've read the first round when Scarlet came out. However many years
Marvel
ago that
stuff,
was.
yeah.
I had read it then, but I haven't read
Any of the
new
new stuff.
Yeah, I haven't read any of the new stuff.
Yeah, I fell off most of the Bendis creator-owned stuff that was being done, so I need to loop back around on some of that stuff eventually, but no, haven't read any of it.
Yeah. definitely my pile to read next.
Hey, I found an old question here. Maybe we could get to this.
Yeah.
Dear Comics Conspiracy, having just read the first appearance of a new character named Barry Allen, Showcase number 4, I don't think he'll be anywhere near as good a Flash as Jay Garrick. What do you guys think?
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a scanned off some old parchment.
I feel like Barry's going to do a pretty good job.
Yeah, well, it's hard to,
I think
He's got
Barry'll be all
the
right.
new modern costume design.
I give him 6 months.
I love those.
He does,
Jay's
he
gonna
does
come,
look pretty
but then-
sleek,
then
but he doesn't
Jay-
have the helmet.
I love those old letter columns that were in comics where it was pretty clear that the editors just wrote the letters themselves.
No, I told you when I visited a comic book shop in Phoenix, one of these guys, the people that wrote in the letters boxes back then were promising writers that were basically sending stuff in.
No. The ones that DC would publish would be like, Timmy, age 3, so I like this Batman. You know, like, they were the worst, right? There's no way those
They
were real.
published Kevin.
There's no way
Yeah,
those-
there's a run of.
By the 70s and 80s,
Kevin
it was real.
Sharp was in there, huge.
Yeah.
But those ones where they had the kids just like fishing for compliments
mom got me
for the books,
So
right?
Kevin's been published in a letters column. I've been published in a letters column. Any of you?
No.
Never.
Well, back in the day when Charlie used to buy comics from me, when I'd sit around that store, whenever we'd have a slow day, I would just we had a roll of stamps and a stack of envelopes in the office supplies, and I would just crank out letters to every series that I liked.
Wow.
So there was a run, maybe a year, 2-year period where I'm popping up all over DC,
Nice.
Marvel. They're first.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the comics companies
Comico.
around that. Comico. Yep.
Tundra.
Oh God.
But you can check out a lot of his stuff now
What
on
else?
his blog.
What else? What would be great?
I just want to announce the anniversary season in Marvel Puzzle Quest just finished.
I'm shutting his mic off, right?
Been playing it the whole time.
Whoa.
Yes, and they used it to launch Cable.
They used it to launch Cable.
Did you get it covered?
Charlie and I, our alliance, we finished in second. I finished Slice 8, 4.8
Nobody
in
understands.
third. Charlie, did you do PvP this year or this season?
I always do PvP, but
Duh.
I was still like rank 300 or something because
Was
I don't
third.
shield.
I have a 4-star roster, so you guys can do it too. Get out there.
Stab a dude
Hustle.
in the dick.
Did not stab a dude in the dick, but I did do quite a few matches.
Is there a Puzzle Quest character with garden shears?
There is not, unfortunately.
There should be.
Do they have a DC Puzzle Quest?
No.
I'd play it then.
With
That's
Dick Grayson?
wise.
Yeah.
Dick Grayson with shears.
Rick Grayson.
That would be his support.
That's going to be the new one.
All right, let's get the hell out of here. I have to finish watching this baseball game. Thank you all for listening to this podcast. Thank you to all our Patreon backers that we're going to thank.
That's what's dinging. Stop shaking your leg because your cord is dinking on your chair.
Dinking?
Dinkin.
Yeah.
Julian Titus has the Nerds Without Pants podcast at pixelbit.com,
Buy that Transformer.
pixlbit.com.
You got to get it.
Buy it, dude. Just buy it. Like,
Ryan
enjoy
has
it, smell it.
has Blowhards, a video game podcast at blowhards.libsyn.com. Jody Lawson is canon the Tri Comics Anthology at TriComicStudios.com.
Hi, Jody.
Jody.
There you go.
Don't forget Sam Che, Craig Anderson, Joe Duff, Andrew Nelson Mendez at the Recovery of an Anime Junkie podcast, Darfox 8 over at Manga Machinations, Larry Davis at the Stand Deliver podcast, which is about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I kind of like
Now I can't not
restless
hear it.
leg syndrong. I don't know. I won't
It's because it's a
Gets
close
to the
game.
Red
I'll put
Sox.
no, they're fine. I'll put the guys on first and second. Xander Bogarts is up. It's fine. It's all good. It's all good. Page Turner is a comic book podcast, which is at Page Turner's podcast.libsyn.com. Thank you guys all very much for your high tier backing of us
Thank you.
on Patreon. That's patreon.com/comic conspiracy. Kick us $1 or $3 or $25, and you can do things on there. We answer questions. We mention you.
We, meaning you.
We, meaning
I want to
you.
give a
none of
shout
us
out
have
to the
access
Josh
to it?
Bros for their support of me in my trying time here on the podcast. Josh Bros.
Yeah,
Thanks for
Glad you can
stepping
power
up.
through.
You got it so hard.
Thanks for stepping up, boys.
ComicConspiracyPodcast.com, Geekbox.net, and iTunes is where you can find all our previous episodes. You can always rate and review us on iTunes, which helps.
Have we got any good
YouTube.com/comics.
ones lately?
I don't look at it.
You always tell people to do it. You should look at it.
Oh, but it helps. Ratings on iTunes make
This is
stuff.
your job.
Ratings on iTunes make stuff pop up higher on searches. So if there's lots of positive ratings, it pops up higher on searches. So if you rate us well,
we want to.
Like, if you had the full support of the Josh Bros, you could get through.
probably have to. Even to find it, I probably have to use iTunes. But
Speaking
I
of
don't
bros, Charlie, I didn't get my Omnibros membership kit. I don't know who to contact.
I've seen the membership card. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
There's a
picture
membership
on it.
card to
yeah,
that?
Yeah.
How
so it's
big
like
is
this
it?
big.
It's like
the
the
membership
size
card
of an
is the size of an omnibus.
I mean, it's actually made out of hardcover material.
Yeah. So it won't fit in your wallet. But you have
It fits right in nicely with the rest of the omnibuses. It says on the
Is there a spine on it?
It has a bevel, yeah. So you can. It says Omnibros membership card.
How much did you have to pay for that?
Yeah.
Well, you just had to prove you had X amount of hardcovers.
How many do you need?
You had to mail
Over
in
100.
You had to mail in a picture of each of them. That's why it cost $62 in mailing.
I have no way of looking up our reviews on iTunes because I don't have iTunes on this
You have
computer.
an iTunes
However,
phone? Who has an Apple phone?
the
Look it up.
top review
Who has an iTunes phone?
the top review on the website is, it doesn't say when it's from. It's from Jinxed Bohemian. It says
Sweet.
the review title is "It's a Show." 5 stars. The review is "It's a Conspiracy of Comics. The What's Not to Like." I agree. Thank you, Jinxed Bohemian. Thank you very much.
I wonder how long ago that
It's
was.
probably 2008. The Comic Conspiracy
Guy's
Geekbox.net is where you can send me an email, which I'll read in 5
I hope
years.
he's not dead.
Patreon. Oh, I did Patreon. Digital.comicsconspiracy. This is the worst. It's the worst episode ever. Digital.comics.
Hold on now.
not even
This is
close.
not even top 10.
Digital.comicsconspiracy.
You weren't here for one of the worst ones.
Oh, I heard it though. I was ruined my podcast. .biz is where you can buy your digital comics for one of the worst outros ever. How about that?
Okay.
And comicsconspiracy.biz, where our regular storefront is, where you can buy comics and we ship them to you old-fashionedly like in the mail.
By the way, hi Andrew, if you're still listening.
Andrew Nelson Mendez.
Well,
Yes.
I got some reviews.
Speaking of rambling outros, he
Yes.
was here for one.
I got some reviews here.
Is it in chronological order?
Is probably. So it says me 2001 7089 says the side note is I love it. Toby my favorite.
Toby, my favorite.
Shout out for the Tobe.
Great podcast by Milliton. You guys are awesome. The 0.5 episodes too.
That first one sounds suspiciously like Toby wrote it.
It does actually, doesn't it?
Voodoo C says great show. Quenches my comic dork thirst.
Toby kind of talks like a caveman, doesn't he? Sometimes. Is he gonna hear this? Is he listening? He's in the back room still.
No, he's long gone.
A crazy Negro says a fun
Whoa.
podcast with interesting people. I enjoy this podcast. A very fun and diverse group of people who are fun to listen to.
We're not diverse at all here. That's the
I'm
problem.
not into comics, but I enjoy listening to the group talk about
What?
them.
The hell do you get out of this podcast if you don't listen?
I really love the long
where'd they
yet
find
fun
us?
movie reviews. I'm really looking forward to hearing their Ready Player One movie review.
Oh, God.
I'm sure it's going to be very fun and interesting review. Thanks.
Yes,
for always
I
entertaining
liked
us.
Ready
Keep
Player
up the good
One.
ones.
I'm sorry. I thought it was pretty good.
ConspiratorBrock.com is Brock's blog and video pull list. Go.
Oh no, I got a bad one.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right, this is from Force with Me 66. Had to stop listening. I have got to the point where I simply can't listen to the show anymore. I'm so tired of the consistent negativity about everything, no matter how small. Also, for actual grown-ups, the need to act like stereotypical fanboys about everything is sad to see. Well, you're not seeing, you're listening. For someone who runs a comic store, they do a great job of getting me not to want to buy comics.
Wow.
Dang. Yeah.
The next one is I really enjoy the sales chart reviews.
Cool. Wonder if he follows diversity in
Don't
comics
wanna
on
listen to
YouTube.
those guys.
Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension. That's Charlie's Doctor Who podcast where they're talking about the new season of Doctor Who.
Charlie, I'm turning on Doctor
Nice.
Who.
I got another good one.
Etsy.com/shop/The
Hold on.
Anthill Art. That is
No,
my
we need
wife's
this
Etsy
one.
store.
We need this
I feel
one.
like we're going through like the Marvel after credits scene.
Brock,
like,
go
the
ahead.
Scroll happens.
All right. This is from JB_Cherry.
What's up,
Title
JB
of it is
Cherry?
All Good But for One Guy. Whoever the guy is that is always yelling and must refer to Ryan by his first and last name, as in fuck you, Ryan Higgins.
Sounds like Toby.
Is a major reason not to listen to this podcast. If you're looking for an elevated form of discourse,
It's not this.
You'll get it from these guys most of the time.
Really?
Except when this guy's in screaming, cursing for no apparent reason.
That sounds like Toby. That sounds like Toby.
I wonder if Toby wrote that one right after this one to like counteract his greatness.
Well, if you want to tell us how awesome or terrible we are, you can go on Twitter and you can at Ryan Higgins Ryan, which is me. Brock is Brock Sager. Bryce is Larson Bryce. He won't reply to you anymore because he doesn't have a commute. He just sits around his house playing World of Warcraft all day and doesn't talk to me.
I know.
Toby is Toby XI. Charlie's Insane Chaos. The store is Comics Con Store. Scott is CS Shea. That Kevin Sharp is that Kevin Sharp over there.
And you can reach the Josh Bros at the Josh Bros.
Now, don't be
they
offering
have a
false
Twitter handle
promises.
I should actually go start.
I look down and suddenly it's 8-4 Boston. Yeehaw! All right. Geekbox, Comedy Button, Manga Machinations, Infinite Bitch Podcast. We're out.